Things just took a wild turn in Philadelphia, and not necessarily the kind the Eagles were hoping for heading into a crucial Week 4 matchup. Just as the team looked like it might finally be finding its rhythm after an emotional comeback win, the injury report dropped, and it changed everything. Not only is the defense dealing with surprise setbacks that could shift the entire game plan, but the offense is facing internal questions, new additions, and mounting pressure to clean up lingering issues before it's too late. And that's without even mentioning the big news from Tampa Bay, where the Buccaneers just lost their biggest offensive threat, a twist that could give the Eagles a golden opportunity if they can stay healthy and capitalize. Let's start with the player who may be turning into a legit star right in front of our eyes, Jordan Davis. The guy's been a wrecking ball this season, and the win over the Rams might have been his true breakout moment. That game-sealing blocked field goal and scoop and score was the kind of highlight play that gets replayed for years. But even beyond that, Davis was flat-out dominant all game long. He's making an impact on every level, chasing down quarterbacks, blowing up fourth-down runs, and showing off athleticism that almost doesn't make sense for a man his size. Clocking over 18 miles per hour on that return? That's not normal. That's freak-level stuff. Davis isn't just filling up space anymore. He's becoming a true game-changer. He's finally putting all the tools together, and if he keeps this up, we might be looking at one of the most impactful interior linemen in the league by season's end. But while Davis is surging, the other half of that dynamic duo on the interior defensive line, Jalen Carter, seems to be battling through some early season struggles. Don't get it twisted. Carter is still a force, and he's made some solid plays this year. But when you break down the film, you can see the signs. There are snaps where he gets totally washed out of the play, others where the effort just isn't all the way there. And it's probably not a mystery why. Conditioning. Carter missed key time during training camp with a shoulder injury and sat out the season opener. He's still working his way into top shape, and it shows. The good news is the coaching staff sees it too, and they're confident he's putting in the work. No one's doubting his talent. But if the Eagles want that interior dominance to last all season, Carter needs to get back to his peak form, and fast. Unfortunately, Carter's not the only one on that defensive front who's not 100%. Left guard Landon Dickerson, who's supposed to be one of the anchors of this offensive line, is clearly playing through something. Coming off a recent knee surgery, his mobility and power just aren't what they usually are. And the numbers back that up. His pass blocking and run blocking grades have taken a major dip, and he's allowed more pressure than usual. It's tough because he's a warrior. You know he's not going to ask to sit out. But at a certain point, you have to wonder if forcing him out there is doing more harm than good. The offensive line as a whole hasn't looked like the dominant unit we've come to expect, and with a tough Buccaneers pass rush on deck, they need every man up front to be locked in. Getting Lane Johnson back should help a ton. His neck injury turned out to be minor, and by all accounts, he's ready to return. But with so many questions about the interior, even his return might not be enough. And that brings us to the offense as a whole, an offense that's been under fire despite the wins. Against the Rams, the turnaround in the second half was noticeable. They were more aggressive, took more shots, and opened up the playbook a bit. But the fact that it took that long to make those adjustments is what has people talking. Were the coaches too conservative? Was the game plan flawed? Or was it the players pushing to take control and make it happen? There's been some chatter, even rumors, that Jalen Hurts was actually the one calling the plays in that second half. Now, head coach Nick Sirianni shut that down immediately, saying offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo was still running the show. But at the same time, Sirianni made it clear that Hurts had a huge voice in those decisions. He sees the field incredibly well, and he's vocal about what's working and what isn't. So while he might not be wearing the headset, there's no doubt Hurts is influencing the flow of the offense more than ever. And he's not the only one speaking up. After the game, A.J. Brown made some comments about the offense being too conservative, and that raised some eyebrows too. This team knows what it's capable of, and when it feels like they're being held back, the frustration boils over. Patullo, for his part, downplayed the criticism. He insisted that the offense was always designed to be in attack mode, and pointed to the aggressive fourth down calls and deep shots as proof. But actions speak louder than words, and the first half offense didn't look aggressive. It looked cautious. The second half was different. and the results were there. So the question is, will the Eagles learn from that and start playing on the front foot from the first snap? Or are we going to see more of this slow start, second half heroics formula that's dangerous to rely on? As if all that wasn't enough drama, the Eagles also found themselves in the middle of a wave of injury news that shook up both their own locker room and their opponents. The biggest news? Mike Evans, the Buccaneers' top offensive weapon, is officially out with a hamstring injury. That's massive. Evans has been one of the most consistent receivers in the league for nearly a decade, and his absence completely changes Tampa Bay's offensive identity. And with other starters like Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs also banged up, the Buccaneers are limping into this game in a big way. Of course, no team wants to win because of injuries. You want to beat your opponent at full strength. But make no mistake, this gives Philly a serious edge, especially with their own secondary potentially dealing with depth issues. Speaking of the secondary, the Birds might have no choice but to turn to rookie cornerback Khalil Ringo this week. With multiple injuries piling up in that group, it's looking more and more likely that Ringo will finally get his shot to start. The coaching staff has been prepping him for this moment, and while he didn't win the job in camp, they've kept his confidence high and made sure he stayed ready. Now, with the lights about to get bright, it's his chance to prove he belongs. Against a team missing its top wideout, this could be the perfect moment for Ringo to get his feet wet and build some confidence. But the injuries didn't stop there. Wide receiver Darius Cooper also went down in that Rams game with a shoulder injury, and early reports suggest he could be heading to injured reserve. In response, the Eagles moved quickly to bring in some help, signing Xavier Gipson to the active roster. Now, Gipson isn't a household name, but he brings something this team sorely needs: experience as a return man. The special teams unit struggled big time against the Rams, and adding someone who can flip the field with a solid return could be a quiet but crucial boost moving forward. And then, out of nowhere, the news dropped that former Eagles safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson was cut by the Texans. Instantly, fans started dreaming of a reunion. The energy, the swagger, the playmaking, bringing him back sounds amazing on paper. But don't hold your breath. For one, league rules might actually prevent the Eagles from re-signing him so soon after trading him. And even if that's not a hard rule, there's also the matter of behind-the-scenes drama. Reports say one of the reasons Philly moved on in the first place was due to off-field issues, and now Houston's doing the same. So while it's fun to imagine CJ back in Midnight Green, the reality is probably more complicated than fans would like to admit. All of this sets the stage for a wild week as the Eagles prepare to face the Buccaneers. There's excitement, concern, and a whole lot of pressure building. Can the defense stay dominant without key pieces? Can the offense finally play 4 quarters of high-level football? And will the coaching staff listen to the voices in the locker room, pushing for a more aggressive identity? The pieces are all there. Now it's about putting them together. While the spotlight might be on Jordan Davis's rise and the uncertainty surrounding Jalen Carter's conditioning, there's an even more complex storyline unfolding within the Philadelphia Eagles offense. For all the talent this unit boasts, from Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown to Devonta Smith, the execution has been inconsistent, and the decision-making on the sidelines has come into question. Against the Rams, the Eagles came out flat. The opening drives were disjointed, the run game felt stuck in the mud, and the passing concepts were borderline predictable. The team was playing not to lose, rather than going out and asserting their will, something Jalen Hurts and others clearly had a problem with. That entire first half felt like a missed opportunity, and the fans saw it. The players saw it. Most importantly, Hurts saw it. Now, Hurts is not the kind of quarterback who throws people under the bus. He's a leader, but the way he responded in the second half, the urgency, the control at the line, the willingness to push the ball downfield, made it clear that he wasn't content with how things were going. Whether or not he was actually calling the plays is beside the point. What mattered is that his influence changed the tone of the game. He took ownership, and the offense finally looked like it had a pulse. He was decisive, aggressive, and efficient. That version of the Eagles, the one that stormed back to win, is the team fans expect to see every week. And it's the version that's going to be needed against better competition down the line. When asked about all this, Nick Sirianni was quick to defend his staff. He clarified that Kevin Patullo remained the primary play caller, but he also praised Jalen for his football IQ and how quickly he processes the game. That's all well and good, but at the end of the day, results matter. And the reality is that things only started to click when Hurts was more involved in the direction of the offense. So if Patullo wants to silence the criticism and prove he's the guy to lead this unit, he's going to have to show it with more than words. The days of conservative game plans and vanilla play designs should be over. The Eagles need to lean into what makes this offense special: speed, physicality, and unpredictability. They've got one of the most dynamic quarterback-receiver duos in the league. Let them cook. And speaking of receiver duos, A.J. Brown's post-game comments weren't exactly subtle either. He didn't call anyone out directly, but his frustration was obvious. He knows the ceiling of this offense, and he's not afraid to say when they're falling short. Brown wants the ball in his hands. He wants chances to make explosive plays. And quite frankly, the Eagles should want that too. You don't have a player like him and then dial up bubble screens and check downs for most of the game. You attack. You let your stars lead the way. The tension between aggressiveness and caution is something this team needs to resolve quickly, because if they keep relying on late-game comebacks to survive, eventually they're going to fall short. The running game, once a reliable strength, has also been surprisingly underwhelming. DeAndre Swift has had his moments, but overall, the production hasn't matched expectations. The offensive line, usually elite in run blocking, has looked uncharacteristically shaky, especially on the interior. That goes back to Landon Dickerson's injury and some early chemistry issues. The schemes haven't helped either. Too often, the Eagles are running into stacked boxes with little variation or misdirection. It's become predictable, and in the NFL, predictability gets punished. Whether it's scheme or execution, something needs to change. The Eagles are too talented up front to be this inefficient on the ground. And now, with more injuries piling up, the margin for error shrinks even further. Darius Cooper's shoulder injury isn't just a depth issue. It affects spacing, rotations, and special teams. He was becoming a reliable option, and now they'll need someone to step up fast. That's where Xavier Gibson enters the picture. Not a big-name signing by any means, but he fills an immediate need. He can help in the return game, where the Eagles were exposed by the Rams strategy, and maybe even contribute in the passing game if injuries persist. That's not the kind of move that makes headlines, but in a long season, those quiet acquisitions can end up being crucial, especially if the injury bug continues to bite. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL world is buzzing tonight as whispers turn into what some are calling a done deal. SHEDEUR Sanders, the rising star quarterback and son of legendary coach Deion Sanders, has reportedly made a decision that could shake the league to its core. Sources close to the young quarterback suggest that after weeks of speculation, private meetings, and intense negotiations, Sanders has accepted what insiders are describing as an irresistible offer from the Philadelphia Eagles. Though official confirmation from either Sanders or the Eagles has yet to surface, the rumor mill is already running wild. Analysts are predicting that this move could change the balance of power in the NFC, giving Philadelphia a quarterback with both youth and a pedigree that commands attention. Sanders, known for his strong arm and electrifying presence on the field, has long been on the radar of several top NFL teams, but it seems the Eagles' proposal was too good to refuse. The excitement among fans is palpable, especially considering Sanders' college career, which was marked by clutch performances, impressive stats, and a style of play that mirrors his father's competitive fire. Social media is ablaze with speculation about what this could mean for the Eagles' starting lineup, offensive schemes, and even the future draft plans. Could this be the move that finally positions Philadelphia as a serious Super Bowl contender? Rumors suggest the front office has been willing to go above and beyond financially and strategically to secure Sanders' commitment, fueling the frenzy even further. While we await official word, insiders hint at a possible announcement in the coming days, potentially making Sanders one of the most talked-about rookies or even quarterbacks in NFL history. Fans and pundits alike are already debating how his unique combination of talent, charisma, and football IQ will mesh with the Eagles roster. One thing seems clear. If these rumors hold true, the NFL landscape is about to get a lot more interesting. For now, the chatter continues, and the anticipation is unbearable. Will Sanders don a green and white and lead Philadelphia into a new era? Or is this just another headline that will fizzle under closer scrutiny? If the buzz is anything to go by, we may be witnessing the birth of a new football phenomenon. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.